Most people doubtless think the Mill Creek collection is made up solely of forgotten movies by no-name personalities. But proven masterpieces and cult favorites can be found everywhere, even in the public domain. Take this early work by Peter Jackson, one of the finest producer-directors plying the craft today.
The extraterrestrial low-lifers. Guess what? We've caught one of the bastards.
Before District 9, Lord of the Rings, and King Kong, Jackson helmed Bad Taste, a zero-budget sci-fi horror parody in which malevolent space aliens in need of carrion for an intergalactic fast food chain conquer a small New Zealand town and harvest its inhabitants. The powers that be, fearing panic if they mobilize the military, instead summon an elite fighting force known as the Boys in the hopes of taking care of things quietly. As our heroes reconnoiter the town, they get separated. Disaster strikes when one of them is hurt rather badly while battling with the alien zombies. Ow. Meanwhile, the invaders hole up in a country home and abduct a nerdy collector to turn into kiwi burgers. An interminable firefight with the stamina of a Neil Peart drum solo ensues, and many lives, innocent and guilty alike, are lost before the worlds can be set right again. Bad Taste is, in a word, gross. In 3 words, it's really, really gross. Some have said that because Bad Taste is essentially a slapstick comedy, the gore isn't quite as disgusting as it could be. To my mind, Bad Taste's lightheartedness actually makes it more disgusting. In a really disturbing horror movie, the emotional impact of a violent scene can dilute the visceral revulsion at the blood and guts. Hell, even a bad movie that takes itself too seriously isn't going to literally turn your stomach the way Bad Taste does. But it's hard to call this a criticism, since nausea is clearly the reaction the movie's after. That and laughs. Bad Taste is awfully funny, and its humor can be urbane just as much as it can be broad and physical.
I think you'd better kill him, Barry.
Geez, he could be Ministry of Works or something.
He's moving too fast.
Jackson and Company made Bad Taste over several years on a budget rumored to be around $30,000. Although no one would mistake the result for Lord of the Rings, it's actually much better. There's no doubt the movie makers put their meager funds to work. The movie's often accused of being slipshod or improvised, but its dialogue is in fact tight and its shots are crisp and well laid out. Very little other than sheep guts is wasted. Jackson, in other words, made up for the project's budget limitations by paying attention to the things that are free, detailed and patient planning. You can see why he eventually caught the attention of the big studios. There seems to have been something in the air about the time Bad Taste was made. The world, for better or worse, was plainly ready for the genre of gore slapstick.
The headshot's the only true stopper.
In what is, as far as I know, a coincidence, a very similar, and if it's possible, even more stomach-churning, movie called Street Trash came out the same year. And I had trouble watching Bad Taste without thinking of the admittedly somewhat later first-person shooter Doom, which shares not only the earlier movie's fascination with humorously copious fusillades of automatic weapons fire, but also most of Bad Taste's specific armament. A mid-20s Peter Jackson also stars as Derek, a squinty Doctor Who nerd who nevertheless provides command and control for the boys until his unfortunate accident. As a directorial cameo, it's both modest and demanding. Jackson seems to have put himself at some genuine personal risk in a knee-wobbling scene on a high cliff, for instance, but his sacrifices don't tempt him to aggrandize his character. Derek's uniquely privileged vantage point seems like a metaphor for his role as a director. So then his manner could be thought of as an expression of how Jackson sees the mood of the movie. Unpresuming, but at the same time competent and ambitious. This unique combination of talent and self-effacement is also in evidence in later titles in Jackson's horror satire phase, Meet the Feebles and Brain Dead. To my mind, his mainstream Hollywood output is a lot less inspired. Before he retires, I'd love to see Jackson use the resources made available by his newfound success to make a high-budget feature that's more in keeping with his roots.
Aren't I lucky I got a chunky bit?
Yeah, but you know what the rules are. When we work undercover, we have to remain faceless.
Oh, I get it. Just in case we kill a lot of innocent people.
Don't you forget, Oz, we're only authorised to use violence when there's a threat to the planet Earth.
And the moon?
Yeah, and the moon.